Breaking news today, Israel-Gaza war update. Israel willing to consider brief pauses in Gaza conflict, according to Netanyahu. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced on Monday that Israel is open to temporary ceasefires in Gaza to support the delivery of humanitarian aid and the safe release of hostages held by Hamas militants. The Israeli leader emphasized once again that his country will not agree to a ceasefire until all individuals held captive in the Hamas-ruled Palestinian enclave are released. During a U.S. television interview, Netanyahu shared his thoughts on the future governance of Gaza once the fighting subsides. Israel will continue to bear the crucial responsibility for overall security, as we have witnessed the consequences of not fulfilling this duty, Netanyahu emphasized in his statement to ABC News. Israel responded swiftly and decisively to Hamas' brutal attack, launching a comprehensive air and ground offensive. The militant group's heinous actions claimed the lives of 1,400 innocent people and left 240 others in captivity. According to Gaza's health authorities, the Israeli bombardment has resulted in the tragic loss of at least 10,000 lives. Israel and Hamas continue to reject increasing international calls for a ceasefire. Israel insists on the release of the hostages, while Hamas remains resolute in its refusal to free them or cease fighting as long as Gaza is under attack. When questioned about the possibility of a humanitarian pause in Gaza, Netanyahu firmly stated that a general ceasefire would not be considered without the release of our hostages. He mentioned, "We've experienced tactical little pauses in the past, an hour here, an hour there. We will assess the situation to facilitate the entry of goods, particularly humanitarian goods, or the safe departure of individual hostages." Israel's latest. Biden and Netanyahu discussed strategic pauses. Israel's military engaged in a firefight with Hamas and Hezbollah in Lebanon, following Israeli forces' strategic advancement to encircle Gaza City. Gaza health officials have reported a devastatingly high death toll, surpassing 10,000. The territory is governed by Hamas, which is designated as a terrorist organization by the U.S. and European Union. Urgent funding needed to sustain humanitarian support for Palestinians in Gaza and parts of the West Bank. The U.S. has sent the nuclear-powered USS Florida attack submarine to the Persian Gulf region as a display of strength to discourage Iran, as reported by U.S. defense officials. Officials confirmed the arrival of the Florida after the U.S. Central Command made a public announcement on X, formerly Twitter. The announcement mentioned the presence of an Ohio-class submarine in the region, but did not specify if it was equipped with nuclear-armed ballistic missiles. The Florida, powered by nuclear energy, does not possess any nuclear weapons. Experienced the transformation of 4 U.S. Navy submarines, now equipped with Tomahawk land attack weapons. Supercharging Israel's missile defenses, the Biden administration is seeking a whopping $14 billion aid request. This would mean a major boost in the number of Iron Dome launchers, more than doubling the current deployment, and a nearly twofold increase in U.S. spending for these crucial defense systems. U.S. officials, who preferred to keep the details private, have revealed that the package comes with the exciting opportunity to construct up to 100 additional Iron Dome launchers and acquire at least 14,000 of its powerful Tamir interceptors. Experience the power of the 10 Iron Dome batteries, equipped with 3 to 4 launchers, 20 Tamir missiles, and a battlefield radar. The State Department has given its approval for the sale of $320 million worth of equipment to Israel, enabling them to transform bombs into highly accurate munitions. This decision was communicated through a congressional notification letter dated October 31st. Through this sale, bombmaker Rafael USA can now transfer the kits to its Israel-based parent company, Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. It contributes to an existing $403 million contract for the identical equipment. Since October 17th, drone and rocket attacks on U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria have resulted in injuries to 45 U.S. personnel, according to Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder. Initially, 21 individuals were injured, but additional cases were reported later on. U.S. officials have characterized the injuries as minor. Ryder reported that the United States has documented a combined total of 20 harassing attacks in Iraq and 18 in Syria. prior to the U.S. launching what it deemed a self-defense strike in late last month against two facilities in eastern Syria. All the injuries had been documented. These facilities were believed to have been utilized by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliated groups. Biden and Netanyahu explored the idea of strategic pauses in Gaza during a phone conversation, as reported by the White House. The leaders also emphasized the importance of ensuring that those responsible for violent acts in the West Bank are held accountable, as tensions have escalated since the war began. Ensuring aid reaches those in need and protecting the safety of hostages and civilians are top priorities for the Biden administration. Netanyahu has firmly rejected those demands, stating that Hamas must agree to release some of the hostages it took during its October 7th assault on Israel. The Israeli military responded swiftly, striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon with precision and force. Strategic sites were successfully targeted, including Hezbollah's technological assets, a weapons storage facility, and launch posts. Earlier, the army reported approximately 30 launches from Lebanon that targeted northern Israel. Hamas's military wing has launched 16 rockets from Lebanon as a direct response to Israel's recent attacks on Gaza. Hezbollah proudly announced the successful launch of missiles at two Israeli sites, effectively destroying equipment at another site in northern Israel. Two fighters from the group were reported to have been killed. Yehia Sari, a spokesman for the Houthis, announced that they have carried out drone attacks on Israel. The group claims to have executed numerous similar attacks. In a remarkable display of strength, the U.S. successfully intercepted missiles launched by the Houthis towards Israel in the Red Sea. Israeli security forces have reported the elimination of 4 individuals in the West Bank town of Tulkarm. According to Israeli police and the Internal Security Service Shin Bet, the men were found to be involved in numerous shootings and were also plotting additional attacks. Supporting the urgent needs of 2.2 million Palestinians in Gaza and 500,000 vulnerable West Bank residents, the United Nations has launched a funding appeal for $1.2 billion. Ensuring safe access for humanitarian missions and significantly increasing the amount of supplies allowed into Gaza are crucial for successfully implementing the aid plans. The UN stated that full implementation of the plan by the end of 2023 is not expected, considering the usual delays between fund pledges and their delivery. In a rare display of unity, the heads of 18 UN agencies and major NGOs have issued a joint statement, urging for an immediate ceasefire. The number of casualties in the Gaza Strip due to Israeli attacks has surpassed 10,000, according to the health ministry run by Hamas. Over 4,100 children and 25,408 people have been wounded, according to reports. Israel is making significant progress in its efforts to address the situation in the Gaza Strip, according to military spokesman Richard Hecht during a briefing on Monday. In the past day, the Air Force has launched a series of attacks on around 450 Hamas targets. Fighter jets have successfully eliminated several Hamas commanders, including one who held a key role in special security. This information was shared by the IDF on social platform X. Gaza City is now completely surrounded by troops, effectively isolating the northern part of the Gaza Strip from the south, according to the